Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm Dear Darling. I shall see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhallow today, where we'll be relaxing as per usual. Just recording pre-D&D. Mainly because I was like, what am I going to prepare in D&D? And I thought about it, but I went, I don't know if I need to prepare anything further apart. Well, the thing I need to prepare was something story kind of related. Like I needed to think about what something would mean. And thought about a different conversation, but I was like, I don't think I need to prepare anything else. I think there's a possibility of battle, I suppose, but that's like, I don't know if I should prepare for that necessarily, because I don't know when or where or if that will even happen, which makes it very difficult. But hello everyone, and I'm Fawnhallow at 6:18 PM on Friday, August 1st, 2025. I don't know, maybe I should at the same time. I think this is a reasonable balance. This is a behind the scenes look over the DM and stuff. If you're not sure if a battle's going to happen, what you do is you do something which is a bit more generic, I suppose. And you might be like, what do you mean by that? I mean by that, that I'm not 100% sure if this will result in a battle. So I create something using, this is why I have a list of things which I call generic things and places. These are just locations. These are maps which I can just sort of reuse and not worry too much, because they're very generic locations. So that is what I'll be doing. I guess I'll use this map because it's the only one. I'm just trying to think. I want to make sure that there's not another one. Oh, I could do this one. I don't think. No, they have used this one. I need to download more generic maps, is what I'm looking at here. Because a lot of these have been used already. I guess I could use one from a different location entirely. Those ones are all underground though. Could be that? Oh, could do this one. Might be an interesting one. Okay, let's do this one. It's one of my early maps. Anywho, but yeah, what we're going to talk about today is actually something, it's not that exciting, it's actually like a bad thing, if anything, but it's the first time I think it's happened to me, where I've ordered something, and I've received the wrong item, and you might be like, whoa, that's the first time? It's probably happened before, but this is the most recent time it's not happened for a long while, is what I should say. But yeah, actually no, now I think about it, this map doesn't make sense, so I guess I'll use this map. But yeah, like, it's not something which has happened all that often, and if at all, like, I can't even think of a time it's happened to me before, but I'm sure it probably has. But yeah, it's like, I mean, you might be able to guess the fact that I've been talking about the fact that, oh yeah, I wanted to, I wanted to get a new phone, and I got one, essentially, because it was on discount, and I ordered it yesterday, like at midnight or something, pretty late, to be honest. That's neither here nor there. Well, I hope it's neither here nor there. But it was slated to arrive today, and it did arrive today. It arrived in the afternoon, and I was like, right, I'll get to that after work, you know, all that jazz. And I opened it, you know, just recently, and I looked inside, and I looked at the box, and you know, the package was fine. It said my name on it and everything, and my address, etc., etc. But then there was a box inside, as expected, and I opened the box, and I looked inside, and took it out, and on the label it said Pixel 7 refurbished black 128 gigabytes, and I was like, okay, that's strange, because I didn't order that. I ordered a Pixel 9 XL Pro XL, mainly because I wanted a big screen and a big storage space. So I was like, that's a bit weird, but I was like, maybe the box is wrong. Maybe it's actually got what I want inside, they just put the wrong label on it, I don't know, there could be a lot of different possibilities. But just in case, I started recording myself, opening it, because I was like, just in case this is wrong, you know, I don't know if I'll need this, but it will be good at least to sort of have it as proof. and then continuous video of me opening up and re-recording, and then looking at it, and I was like, I mean, literally, the phone which I got delivered is the phone I have right now, except for a smaller storage space. Like, I have a Pixel 7. Well, actually, to be fair, mine's not black, mine's white. And 256 gigabytes. So I looked at it and I was like, I don't think this is the right phone. This looks like exactly the same size as my current phone. And like, I peeled back the sort of like white protective film which is on top of it normally, and I'm like, this is a black phone. This is straight up not the phone I ordered. So at very least, at least the label on the box was correct. So I had to do something which I don't usually have to do, is contact support. Actually, to be fair, there was another time where I didn't. Well, it was different because I got the right thing, but it didn't get delivered essentially. So I went on Google, went to their support page, and was like, alright, okay, obviously they got some sort of AI system set up, and it's like, you know, they're like, okay, what, describe your issue? And I was like, well, I mean, mine's probably a pretty common one. I got the wrong item. Indeed, it was there, and it was like, here's some articles, do they help? And I clicked and opened the article, and it said contact support, and I was like, okay, thanks. And I was like, it was like, do you want to call a chat? And I was like, I don't know, a chat, I guess. I was kind of deliberating because I was like, calls are usually faster, but then also I can't hear half the time on the call very well. Chats I can read at least. And it was like less than a minute for both, and I was like, fine, you know, I don't know who's working now necessarily, but hopefully someone is. But yeah, so I opened the chat and then had a conversation with someone from support, and then they looked into it and was like, oh, actually, I can only deal with US and Canada, and you live in the UK, so I'm gonna page you on through to someone in the UK who can help with UK stuff. And I was like, sure, go for it. And then that person came along, and they were just like, can you send a photo? And I was like, here you go. And they were like, cool, I'm gonna contact senior support, and you also need to give consent or something. And I was like, okay, fine. I mean, I looked up the consent, it was like, give access to your account data, and I was like, I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm using my Google account to contact you, you already have that data, I guess. But, you know, probably it's for restrictions, EU restriction, well, GDPR restrictions, which I'm all in favour of. And then they were like, can you, this is like the most boring story I think I've ever told, because it's probably just so mundane. But someone in the future, 600 years from now, they'll look at it and be like, whoa, you know, I'm so glad, dear darling, chronicled what the support process was like so we could understand it when we study it as historians in the future. But yeah, that was that. Oh no, they were like, can you send another picture? Can you make sure that this like serial code thing is fully in view? So I was like, okay, I'm going to send 2 pictures. I'm going to send one of like everything I received, and I'll send one of a close-up of a label in case that's not readable. That should cover it. And they're like, okay, this is going to take some time, so we're going to like, I need to contact higher support, as they called it, which I assume that's just like senior member, essentially. And they're like, we'll contact you through email. And I was like, okay. And I was like, when are you going to respond? And then they were like, today. And I was like, okay, sounds good. Like, I'm holding you to it. I'm expecting something. It's also the weekend, so I fully don't expect them to actually. And I assume it's one working day, which kind of sucks because I did want to set up my phone this weekend. Because I was like, will be good. Like, I receive on Friday, I'll start setting it up and downloading things. I'll start using it actively on the Saturday when I receive the phone case or something instead. But now I'm going to get the phone case and the phone screen protector, and I'm just going to be sitting there being like, no phone to put this on. I guess I could start considering what I'm going to use on my phone case, like photo, which will probably just be the same one, just printed. But so I guess silver linings when it comes to that. But yeah, other than that, it was rather uneventful. Got resolved reasonably quickly. I saw that you could request like a transcript of the conversation, so I can actually see how quickly it got resolved. Oh yeah, it gave it to me in Pacific time, so it connected me to a US person. It got resolved in 27 minutes, which is fine. But yeah, I don't know. I was also thinking this entire time, like, I wonder if I'm chatting to an AI bot or something. And I was like, it's possible. But I mean, at least the second person I spoke to, I was like, this person's definitely must be human, or they just made a or the AI made a grammatical mistake at some point. Not that I was really judging them for that; they were pretty helpful, to be honest. I assume they were actual people. Maybe because this is a type of error which you don't use AI for. I don't know. But I was also like, if I am talking to AI, I don't know if I notice. Like, I'm being Turing tested right now, or something, and I failed. But then I also thought, I wonder if they think I'm AI, because I mean, which might come as a bit of a surprise, I talk in like type in proper full sentences, and like use punctuation fully. And a friend once said to me that you type like you're an AI, and I'm like, wow, it's actually really true though. So I was kind of cracking up at the mind of like, because I assumed it was the two humans talking together. And then like from my perspective, it'd be like, what if it was actually, you know, we're two humans, but each of us think it's two AI, well, the other is an AI or something. I don't know, but it feels like there's some sort of comedy in that, inherently, somehow. I don't. Sorry about that little bit of a pause. This would usually be the time I've started D&D, but one of my friends has said that they'll be 10 minutes late. And so I'm just sort of, you know, well, we'll be biding our time for those 10 minutes, I guess. But yeah, I mean, that was basically the entire story, I think. I think I got to the end of it, me reporting that I received the wrong item. Again, it's not very exciting. I think it's exciting for me in some weird sort of pervasive sense, in the fact that like I very rarely actually like go to support channels to be like, hey, something's wrong. I don't know whether it's luck or I don't know whether it's my indifference, but a lot of the times, you know, things work out when I like order something. As I say, I cannot think of a time where I've returned an item. Returned an item because it was wrong, I should say. I've returned items before because I was like, oh, this was like lower quality than I expected, or like this doesn't fit me. But I can't think of a time where I returned something because of it was incorrect, it was wrong, or I received the wrong thing. I mean, there are stories of people, you see it online, people doing it and being like, they received, the one I think about is the person who received like 50 graphics cards or something, and we're like, I only ordered one and it wasn't even this graphics card, I mean, I got 50 of the newest one instead, what do I do? And the answer is, who knows, I suppose. And it's a sort of thing, because like, again, we're going business talk here again. I wonder what it's like from a business perspective. Obviously, from a business perspective, you don't want to make these mistakes, but I'd imagine you don't want to make mistakes, not only because they cost money, but they don't really cost that much money in the grand scheme of things. Like, think about it, like Amazon moving, like, well, I mean, let's use Google, because Google's the example here. Google moving probably like thousands of products on a daily basis or something. But probably the amount that of income spent from product sales, I suppose, on a day-to-day basis must be in the 100,000s, maybe millions. I don't know exactly the scale, but the numbers are big. Essentially, you know, one phone, like my phone, you know, like £1,000 or something, going missing or something. Not that, it's like a drop in a bucket for them. It's more so about the customer retention, right? Because it's more of a mark on their services if they do something when, oh, the service wasn't as I anticipated in some form or another. People are going to be more resistant to it, being like, oh, I'm less likely to come back here. And that's what makes the sales, right? I'm sorry to go about this in such like a clinically sales tactic mindset, but it's sort of like I think that's kind of interesting in a way, right? Because like when you're younger, well, at least when I was younger, I always was just like, oh yeah, you know, they must care like super much about this. They want to make sure I get the right item because, you know, it's losing money if they give me something more expensive. But it's like, you know, I mean, imagine the conceptual period, like I keep this Pixel 7. I'm not going to if they tell me to return it because I'd rather get my phone. But this sort of thing where it's like, oh, you know, imagine if I got something better or something and then don't report it. I said, I'm not going to say I'm going to do that because, again, I didn't. But it's the sort of thing where it's like, if this happened in a theoretical situation where someone did this, how would it affect the bottom line? And the answer is probably not all that much. You know, it's the same way that like stores have like a built-in sort of not safeguard, but amount of to take into account of people like stealing items. and stuff, which I always found like very fascinating when I was younger, being like, why would you do that? Why would you not just want to have them stop stealing stuff? But then it's like, it's not worth it, right? Like, obviously, it's like, it's too dangerous a lot of times. Like, with people who steal things, if they're armed or something, it's not worth your employee's life or injuries or whatever, or damage or property things. It's much better in most cases just to eat the cost and just be like, all right, we'll take that as a loss. That I think is fascinating. And really, like, that's something like 12-year-old me to be like, I don't understand. And then like when I learn about it, I'll be like, fascinating. Because it's something where I think it's probably the clearest example of the distinction between theory and practice, right? In theory, you would, minimize stealing and whatnot, because, I mean, obviously you don't want things to be stolen from you. But when you're a large enough business or something, the practicality is you just take it into account, because the consequences of if something goes poorly, if you do try and stop that, is honestly a lot worse. Anyway, that's not really much to do with the fact that I received the wrong item. In my case, the parcel is literally sitting there. It's leaning against my bookshelf. I can see it from here. And then I'm just waiting, basically. But if we created a ticket via email for me, it is a weekend, so I'm not really expecting a response. I am kind of disappointed, though. But then, like, whenever it happens, they'll respond to me, and then I'll be like, oh, cool, nice. And then I'll get my new phone, hopefully. So I guess I had set up next weekend, or maybe next weekday, I don't know. I will say July's over, Art Fight has finished now. I managed to get 2 more attacks in. I was kind of doing them in parallel, which is why we ended up being like so close together. Because it was just like, I started one, and then I was like, I'm going to try and finish this one and then do the other one that I want to do. But then I was like, it's more important I do this other one, in my personal opinion. So I sort of brought that one up to the same place. And then, last night I was finishing them off. And yeah, posted them today. It's a shame I didn't do as much as I would like to have done in Art Fight this month. But I mean, again, it was a lot busier than I expected. Who can predict? So I'm going to round this episode off here. So if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling, and likes, comments, description, shares, greatly appreciated. Socials, Discord down below. Hope to see each other again, but for now, it's our farewells. Until next time, bye-bye for now. And I can see my friends have joined the D&D call.